Hi, welcome to today's lesson. Today's lesson is about developing intimacy with yourself. So, your relationship with yourself is the most important relationship that you will ever have because it sets the tones for other relationships in your life. So you want to have a good relationship with yourself because the relationship you have with yourself, that is what will determine the quality of your relationship with your husband, with your children, with your siblings, with every other person in your life. So when it comes to developing a good relationship with yourself, so we are talking about you becoming really aware of your needs, of your feelings and emotions, of your triggers, having a good ability to self-soothe. Maybe you something happened and you are anxious. Maybe you just discover something on your husband's phone, or you have anxious thoughts and you are going through this period of emotional overdrive, like it feels like you have massive anxiety, you can't breathe, your chest is closing in, you are panicking, you don't know what is happening, you don't know what your husband is doing, or maybe somebody just said something to you, or your husband said something to you, and you're having this flood of emotional response, and you need something to feel better. Usually, maybe if your husband should give you a phone call and say, "Ah, hello, I've been out with friends, this is where I am, I'll be home in a few minutes," that might make you feel better because maybe your panic anxiety attack is coming from the fact that, oh, I don't know where he is, maybe he's with the other woman right now as I'm talking. But then, having that phone call, having that confirmation from him that is actually out with friends, or maybe you taking a look at somewhere and then finding him, just finding evidence that he's not with another woman, that is actually doing something, can make you feel better. Okay, so what if in case you can't get that external confirmation? How can you help yourself to feel better? That is what self-soothing is all about. Being able to make yourself feel better when nobody is telling you anything, where you are not getting any external confirmation from anywhere. This is all about being self-reliant, being able to sort through your emotions and think thoughts that makes you feel better about your situation, being able to calm down your own anxiety whenever you're having this anxiety overdrive. So you can only achieve this when you have a good relationship with yourself. Okay, so also having a good relationship with yourself also lets you know what your boundaries are, what your yeses are, what your nos are, and what you are willing to put up with, what you are not willing to put up with. And when you know these things, it helps you have a good relationship with other people because you can tell them, you can show them how to please you, how you want to be loved. So when you are in a marriage and you have unmet needs, maybe your husband is not good giving you enough attention, or he's not spending quality time with you, or you're not hearing the kind of word of affirmation you want to hearing from him. What you want to do is to start doing all those things from yourself. Start looking at how to meet those needs by yourself. Start saying, how can I meet my need for attention? How can I give attention to myself? Paying attention to how you feel, that's attention. Asking yourself, how are you feeling right now, and trying to identify the emotions that are coming for you, the feelings that are coming that are coming for you, is attention, is quality time. Journaling on your thoughts, that's quality time you are spending with yourself. So for whatever needs that you have, you don't want to go to your husband to meet those needs with an empty bucket. You want to fill in your cup first to some extent. So for the purpose of this course, I just want to focus on two main things when it comes to self intimacy, and that is emotional processing. And this is because it is really, really important. Knowing how to process your own emotions is a tool you will need to deal with your husband. Is a tool you will need to use in your workplace with your children. Is a tool that you need for your general well-being. So how do you process your emotions? So this can happen when you are triggered, maybe when something happened and you are just having horrible emotions, horrible feeling, maybe feeling of anger, feeling of anxiety, or maybe feeling of loneliness, or you are just having negative feelings. Okay, just feeling somehow, you may not even be able to put on your hand on what you are feeling. So when you have negative emotions, I want you to start treating it as feedback that something is out of alignment, and you should not just like disregard it. It requires your attention to deal with it. Maybe so if you catch yourself having negative feeling, ask yourself, what is the name of this emotion I'm feeling? Name it, put a name on it. What am I feeling right now? So try and identify the emotions that you are feeling, and just a name. Don't try and explain it, just a name. One, I'm feeling anger. Maybe I'm feeling, try and lean into that feeling and understand that feeling, and put a name on it. So sometimes you might be feeling rejected or lonely or abandoned. Just put a name on the feeling. Then go back to your journal, look at the emotions that you have identified, and ask yourself, that's the second step, what happened, what is the actual event that happened that is making me feel angry. So this is just like when A happened, when A and B happened and I feel angry. Or maybe let me give you a real life example. Okay, when I asked my husband for these finances, he got upset and shouted on me, and I'm feeling rejected, I'm feeling unworthy. So that's the actual event that happened. So try and explain the actual event that happened. So the third step is, ask yourself, what am I making this to mean about me? The thing that happened, what do I make it mean about me? So now let me give an example again. Let's say I just find myself feeling a kind of way, and I ask myself, what's the name of this emotion I'm feeling? And then I think about it, I lean into it. You really have to lean into it and try and put a name to it. And then I feel like it's rejection. I'm feeling rejected. Then I ask myself, what happened actually? Okay, when I tried to initiate sex with my husband, he just told me he's tired, that I should leave him alone. He doesn't want to engage with me. So that's the actual event. Okay? So he told me he's tired, and I'm feeling this emotion of rejection. So if I were to ask myself, what am I making is rejection to mean about me? What am I making him telling me he's tired, he can't have sex, to mean about me? So if I think about it, then maybe I'm making it mean that I'm not wanted, I'm not loved, I'm not desired, I'm not desirable, I am unloved. Maybe that's what I'm making it mean, because I'm making it mean that if he actually loves me, he would have wanted sex with me. Or I'm not attractive, that if I were to be attractive, he wouldn't have want to resist having sex with me. So that's what I'm making it mean about me. I'm making his action, is action of telling me that I don't want sex now, I'm tired, to mean that I am unattractive. So the first step is you want to question that meaning that you are giving, you are giving to that event about you. So you want to ask yourself that, is that 100% true? Is it 100% true that if my husband is tired, says he's tired, doesn't want to have sex, it means I am unattractive? Then you will see that, oh, that doesn't mean, that is not 100% true. It might be that he's truly really tired. It might be he's feeling uninterested in sex at that particular moment, but it doesn't really mean that if he's not interested in sex, I am unattractive. It doesn't 100% mean that, because most of the time the reason why we suffer, why we have negative emotion and we suffer from it, is not really because of what actually happened. It is because of the meaning that we give to it, the painful meaning that we give to what happened. Because feeling that I am unattractive and that's why my husband doesn't want sex with me, that's a very painful thing to think about. That's a very painful belief to have. So the second reason why we suffer is because of unmet needs. When we have needs that are not being met, so in order for you to get your needs met, you first of all have to remove the painful meaning that are not true that you are associating with your unmet needs. So when I'm able to say, okay, his rejection doesn't mean that I am not attractive, then I'm able to expose the need. Then I'm able to now ask myself, okay, what do I need in this situation? So what I need in this situation is to be able to have sex with my husband. That's what I need, to be able to have my need for quality time and physical touch fulfilled. That's what I need. And it might not be something that has to happen at that particular time. So I just needed to identify what my needs are, which is to be able to have sex on a regular basis. Okay, so then that becomes something I can now have conversation on, discuss with him. Like, hey, I know you work so hard and sometimes you get so tired, but I feel like I have this need for physical touch and I feel like I need to be having sex on a regular basis. Okay, so let's look at which days you feel like you feel less tired or you work less, so I know that I don't come to you or demand for sex when you are really tired. Or what I will want instead is for you to make effort to fulfill my needs, because this is also very important to me. So when you are able to separate untrue painful stories from your need, then it becomes really easy for you to discuss it and talk about it in a way that will not trigger your husband. Let's say I didn't do the emotional processing. I was just still holding on to that painful story that I am unattractive. You can see how the way I will deal with it will be very different and very negative. So I'll probably be like angry, upset, haul insult at him or say things like, you don't love me, you don't find me attractive, you're probably cheating on me, that's why you don't want to have sex with me. You can see what I'm saying here, and my reaction is just coming from that filter of I am unattractive, he doesn't love me. Meanwhile, my need that I need to talk about is just that I want more sex. So try and separate. Anytime you need to discuss your needs with your husband, make sure you are separating your painful stories from it. Walk through your stories, separate it so that you can discover the needs that is underneath it, so that you can have good conversation about it. You can talk about it in a way that your husband is able to hear you and meet your needs. And also, being able to process your emotion can give you relief from pain, relief from anxiety. I know a lot of women are suffering from insomnia, not being able to sleep properly at night, and this is because you have unresolved issues. You have emotional, you've been triggered during the day. Something has happened that triggered you, and you didn't properly resolve the issues in your mind, and that is why even as you are trying to sleep at night, your brain is still in overdrive, subconsciously trying to process what happened, trying to resolve it on its own. So your brain is still in very active, in this active fight or flight mode. But if you can consciously process your emotion and resolve issue, you become emotionally well, you become more well emotionally, and you are able to communicate better with your husband, relate better with people, other people in your life. So the second thing I want to discuss is that yes, you should do this when you are triggered, but you should also do this when you are not triggered. As a matter of fact, you should set an alarm on your phone for like 3 times in a day and check in with your feeling, because sometimes you may have emotional issues to walk through and you may not even know about it, because maybe you've been so used to not paying attention to your emotions. You've been used to dismissing your emotions over time. So it may happen that you may have you may actually be triggered, but it's not really acknowledged. So in order to get very good at processing your emotion and having good relationship with yourself, so deliberately checking at intervals during the day and just ask yourself, what am I feeling? What am I feeling at this moment? And then identify your feelings, and then run through the process of the steps of processing the emotion. Sometimes you find a cocktail of emotions. You find excitement, you find anger, you find loneliness. Then try and determine the event, the things that happen that is bringing about each of the feelings, and walk through them, process each of the emotions. So if you are if you become really good at doing this, there are things that you won't even bring up with your husband or with people, because you would have resolved them on your own. And there are issues that you feel like, this is something that I really need to discuss, because this is how I can meet this need for myself. So develop a good relationship with yourself by dealing with your emotions, processing your emotions when you are triggered, and consciously checking in with yourself to discover other unprocessed emotions.